folks.
It's a real thing.
The Edge Morning Show.
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got it.
Welcome to the Edge Morning Show.
With Chris Knight, Eric Johnson, Fox 2's Faust, and Tabitha Hassell.
The Edge starts now.
Do you know what today is?
Today's Friday.
Not just that.
Freaky Friday.
It's Freaky Friday!
Freaky Friday.
It's Freaky Friday.
Looks like somebody's ready for the weekend.
Super freaky, huh?
So it's like Freaky Friday.
Freaky.
Freaky!
Freaky Friday? What a freak show.
Freak show.
Let the freak show begin.
It's showtime.
It ain't a Freaky Friday. It's a fun Friday. We're going to have a lot of fun. I don't know where you pulled that crap from, Chris. It's not a Freaky Friday. Come on. It's a fun Friday.
If you say so.
I say so. It's a fun
I'm
Friday.
just glad at noon we don't have to wear a mask.
Hell.
So did you get vaccinated
Wait a-
overnight? Because
wait a-
otherwise,
Yes,
you're
you
still
did.
wearing your
no,
mask.
No, you don't, Tabitha. Stop it. Don't even. It's.
I never
We're
wore a
going to
mask
get into
anyway.
it. City and county officials told us last night, listen, restaurant owners, bar owners told us, listen, nothing we can do. Listen, if you got vaccinated, great. You don't have to wear a mask. If you didn't, you should wear a mask. But guess what? The health is all into your hands. It's up to you. And then I even saw a health official go as far as to say, well, Dr. Garza say, and I know he cares. He does. He's a good man, and he's a lot more entertaining off camera than he is on camera. He is. I'm just telling you, he is. I think when he puts that white coat on, something changes. But I'm telling, they even said, well, it's dangerous out there. You know, if you don't wear a mask and you haven't been vaccinated, all you're doing is hurting yourself, which is completely different from the message we've had all along. It's like, oh my God, you got to wear a mask. You got to stay away, because we already know when you get vaccinated, it doesn't keep you from transmitting COVID.
But guess what does? My COVID antibodies.
You're just pissed because you're selfish about your own COVID.
Didn't you know I have magic blood? Did you know that?
You're pissed because they didn't include you in the list.
I have magic blood, and I'm not on the list. I have magic blood because not only am I protected from COVID, because I have COVID antibodies, but my blood plasma is used to save lives of other people that have COVID. But yet I don't get a passport, and I still have to wear masks.
Everybody gets a passport. Hey, Chris, our awesome listeners are saying that the radio sounds funny this morning.
We're
sound
echoey.
And multiple people, so it can't just be them. We'll work on it. We're starting late. Chris is rocking and rolling. He's got a million things to do. We'll get it all together. We'll see what it is. We appreciate you listening to us. We have a big show. Chris, I love you for getting us started off the best way that you possibly could. By noon. There's a press conference today. First of all, welcome to the Edge. Eric Johnson will be here shortly. Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. We're packed today. If you want to get a call in, you better do it in the next. Well, we got to take a break in about 8 minutes or 9 minutes or so. You better do it quickly. 636-695-2915. Share the show. 100.7 The Viper. You know what we do. You don't worry about. For those new listeners, we separate the fact from the fiction. We bring it strong. We are edgy. And, of course, this show goes fast. The fastest 2 hours in talk radio. Whew. Can't wait for this Friday. Here we go. Coming up at 8:30. You just won't want to miss it. You want a real perspective of the border. Somebody who worked the border for 12 years. Somebody who was rescuing women and children, who went against the cartel, who had $1 million hit on his life from the cartel and basically said, I don't care. I'm going to continue to do what I've done. I'm going to have major motion pictures made about me.
Right.
I'm going to train armies across the world. He was pretty much a mercenary. So he may not like that, but a good one.
And he's a great guy on top of that.
Great guy, St. Louis based.
One of the best guests
Colonel
we've ever had.
Joe Adams joins us at 8:30. He took a trip down to the border a couple weeks ago just to see how bad it was. We had him on about a month and a half ago, and he told us, well, you won't want to miss what he has found and what he has seen. And unfortunately, the situation is also, it's not one where you want to hear about his dire concerns, not only for America in the next 10, 15 years, but America now with what's happening at the border. Colonel Joe Adams, you want to hear what it's like? Not the BS that you get that gets filtered through news media outlets, but a real first-hand look, you'll have Joe. We'll save some time for him. We put out 30 minutes, and I hope it's enough.
Right.
You want questions answered? Let us know on the Facebook line of 100.7 The Viper. Then at 9 o'clock, the man, the man, the one and only Dr. Daputi in studio. Perfect timing to have Dr. Daputi in the day after we get the announcement on what's going on today at 11:30.
I don't even care about Dr. Daputi. I just want that amped coffee.
He's bringing amped coffee. He's
plying us with
coffee
with drugs this morning.
And if anybody doesn't know, they need to go to his website and check out the amped coffee, because I think we're a 4 for 4 in this room on the feeling and, of course, the health benefits from amped coffee. All right. Then at 11:30 today, it's a combo now, because St. Louis City and St. Louis County are doing everything. And I'm telling that's a whole other subject. It's the start of the merger is what it is. And you're starting to see it. Hey, we need to work together, whether there's a merger or not. We do? Tashara Jones, mayor of St. Louis. And by the way, I interviewed her yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had a good sit down with Tashara for Monday night on the 98 police officer open vacancies being eliminated. Also spoke with Jane Duker, who represents the police situation.
I like Jane.
Jane had some very good words, and also talked to the woman who's running the Cops and Clinicians program. Do you realize that this program that Tashara is increasing actually started in February with Mayor Lyda Cruson?
I mean,
using
am I
social
surprised?
workers.
No.
Long story short, Sam Page, county executive, Char Jones have a joint press conference again at 11:30. And if you don't think that that's not sending a message about the future of St. Louis County and St. Louis City, think
Move
again.
now, people. Move now. St. Charles County welcomes you. Come on out.
I can't even finish without you being smart.
It's going to be one of those kind of
You're
days.
edgy today.
Wait until I get the coffee, the amped coffee.
Holy crap, Tabitha, you're on
I'm
edge
sorry.
today. You're not against me, but I can tell. You woke
I'm
up
fed up.
piss
I'm
and
fed
vinegar
up.
this morning.
I'm fed up with all of it.
Chris, can you tell?
I was fed up yesterday. I'm even more fed up today.
It's Friday, baby. Let's get through
And I'm
this.
glad.
Let's have a great
Extra
weekend.
cocktails
We're gonna have
tonight for all of
awesome
us.
Weekend on the show and move along. But they're going to come out today at 11:30 and talk about the new guidelines for St. Louis County and St. Louis City in unison with the CDC guidelines. You're basically going to have all of this eliminated. You
Communists
really are.
need to stick together.
What has happened when it comes to the vaccine, the virus, the masking, all the social distancing? I just hope and pray for business owners that they do something with the table situation, because even though last week they allowed restaurants and bars to go back to, quote, 100% capacity, they still had social distancing rules in place. So if you go into a place in St. Louis County or St. Louis City, guess what? It looks exactly the same way it did 4 months ago, because they can't move the tables.
Well, they can. No, they can move the
Legally,
tables.
they can't.
They can move the tables.
Legally, they can't.
Because I'll
move
tell you
the
what, plenty
tables.
of bars and restaurants in St. Louis have not had any restrictions in quite some time, and they've managed to stay under the radar.
Ooh, this is Tabitha's Feisty Friday.
I've been to these
You're
places.
like F all y'all today.
I am. I really am. So wait till we get some coffee.
Yeah, just wait till we get Eric in here.
I mean, yeah. How many more days? We have what, 30? How many more days do we have till that comes into effect?
30 more.
30 more
till
days.
What comes into effect?
Well, yesterday, Chief Fitch mentioned something about the next 30 days. Businesses just hanging in there for those next 30 days.
There's so many things going on with this. House Bill 271 took the power away from one person. It goes back into local jurisdictions. If the county could get 4 out of 7 votes to rein in Sam Page, but we may not even need it now, according to. I mean, this is for future. That's already been put in place. So if today's guidelines that are released by the county and city really truly follow CDC, it's not going to matter what county council does this time. But that was good for future. But that 271, House Bill 271, which overwhelmingly passed the Senate and the House, also eliminated any vaccine passports for transit, which was another huge situation. And then on top of it, you've got House Bill 1358, which might also was supposed to pass today. And this is where the conspiracy theory comes in, Tabitha. Ward, remember yesterday at the end of the show, I said, House Bill 1358 looks like it's going to pass, which would eliminate the masking and social distancing rules throughout the entire state. And then what happens? The CDC just happens to come out yesterday, and now the county and the city today have new guidelines. We'll see what they are at 11:30.
The sham is up. The gig is up.
Okay, that's what you said.
It's up. We're done. Now I'm taking Eric's role because Eric's not here.
Yeah, from the Facebook line, Parsons he is gonna sign HB 271, but this HB 1358 is so much better. It really is. Not only for now, but for the future if something were to occur again. And just think, this all started yesterday morning with Dr. Fauci saying, quote, "I'm not so sure kids need to be vaccinated to go back to school in the fall." And then
he'll change his mind next week.
And then a whirlwind of activity the rest of the day once the CDC said what they said just a few hours later. And if you don't think that Dr. Fauci and the CDC are talking, think again. Everything is planned.
Of course it isn't. Vic,
just like politics. When you
no
think,
question.
Like in the
It's
state
a playbook.
of Missouri,
it is a playbook.
when somebody is in a position, don't think that there's not already people in each party set to take that spot.
Yes.
Everything is planned. This stuff isn't by accident.
No, there is a playbook.
A lot of our lives
absolutely.
are planned, and we don't even realize.
What do
from a
you think is
national
going to happen
standpoint.
next? They tried to give us Cardinal tickets to get a vaccine. They tried to give us French fries and cheeseburgers to get a vaccine.
I almost spit my coffee out.
And we're still not doing it. We're still not doing it. Now they're telling us you need a vaccine or you can't take your mask off. And you know what? We're still not going to do it. What's next?
BJC
What
told
comes
us
next?
yesterday they had 500 appointments set immediately for kids to get vaccine.
40 miles down the road at Busch Stadium today, they are vaccinating kids 12 to 15 years old.
From the Facebook line. Despite the CDC guidelines, guess you think it's bad in St. Louis County, and Glenn, I know you're like always about Parson. Do this, Parson, do that. Go to Michigan.
I know.
Despite the CDC guidelines,
I will
guess
never
what?
go to Michigan.
They're still keeping all their orders in place. Gretchen Whitmer, holy freaking moly! I'm glad I don't live in Michigan anymore, and I love that state.
Despite their
Wow.
beautiful beaches, I am not going to Michigan.
And they do. I'm telling you what, Western Michigan,
It's beautiful.
Northern Michigan, it's for all that goes into it. I'd rather go there than the Caribbean in the summer when it's warm.
Right.
It's
I
amazing.
agree.
Okay. We're just getting started there. It's a Friday. We'll see what your weekends entail. Let us know what you're up to. We'd love to hear from you. You guys make the show run. That's why the show's become successful. That's why it's become popular, because of you and your comments on Facebook. We love you listening to the stream as well. Chris, ViperRocks.com still, correct?
Never changes.
ViperRocks.com. And, of course, on Radio 100.7, The Viper. Colonel Joe's going to call in at 8:30.
Man, I was going through these pictures you sent me. Wow.
Well, there's one that's for
It's
sure.
going to be amazing.
636-695-2915. Dr. Naputi at 9 o'clock. Not only is he going to break down what the CDC is doing right now, we like you to be vaccine educated. We'll let you know what's in these vaccines.
Right.
As a parent, do you really need to get your kid vaccinated? There's whole many. First of all, if you wanted to get vaccinated, and you're allowed to, by the way, and nobody should shame you for getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine.
Correct.
Just be educated. You're not vaccine hesitant if you haven't. You're vaccine educated. You're vaccine informed. If your child has not been vaccinated and your neighbors and, well, we got to do this, we got to do that. You know what? Okay, fine. That's what they want to do with their kids. If you don't want to get it, don't. If you do. Just be vaccine educated. Dr. Naputi can't miss. We'll have him in studio at 9 o'clock. Colonel Adams coming up at 8:30. And, of course, we'll be talking about what's happening with St. Louis County, St. Louis City. Restrictions may be being lifted. We know how Sam Page has moved in the past, very slowly, like a turtle when it comes to releasing guidelines, releasing restrictions. But we had Dr. Garza on last night. We had restaurant owners on who basically said, it's up to you to do what you want to do now. He's like, we can't police it. We can't ask you. We can't say you prove it that you had the vaccine.
Right.
Just like you can't prove
And no
you've
one
had
better
COVID.
ask me for any kind of vaccine passport. I will give them a drop of my magic COVID blood.
You have had the vaccine, Tabitha. You had COVID.
I had COVID, right? I had
So
my
you
own
have had the
natural.
vaccine.
I had something better than the vaccine because guess what? When you have natural antibodies, you cannot become infected.
I don't
you
like to
cannot
talk.
transmit the virus.
And I don't like to talk about what I've done or what I haven't done because it's my personal information, and I don't want to get into HIPAA, and I don't want to get into all those things. And quite frankly, I don't want to talk about my personal health with somebody.
No, it's no one's business.
Nobody should.
No one's business.
That's why the HIPAA
And it's not the
situation
government's
started in
business.
the first place.
That's exactly right. It is no one's business what you do with your body. Isn't that what you made this point to me earlier? Isn't that what they tell you when it comes to abortion?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not the government's job to police your body.
Whatever you choose to say or do in life, just be consistent. If that's who you are, government, if that's who you are as an individual, be consistent. Chris, it's a fun Friday, baby. It's already 8:20. We'll take a quick break. Share the show, 100.7 The Viper on Facebook. Let's get ready. We'll come right back and continue this Friday show right after this. You're listening to The Edge. Eric Johnson will be here shortly. Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, and Vic Faust of Fox 2. Chris, you haven't heard from Eric, right?
No.
He's not here yet.
I think he's out getting his vaccine at getting his Cardinals tickets today.
All right.
He's going to show us his vaccine card.
We'll be right back.
I think so.
Start as early as the other shows because we're a lot smarter.
Mom, Ethan's on the tree again.
Ethan, get down.
Can I climb on the swing set instead?
Sounds like it's time to get all your adventure-seeking kids to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. They'll soar on Thunderbird, race against each other on Cheetah Chase, the first launched water coaster, and get the thrills they love on all the wooden roller coasters. Get your family fun off the ground at holidayworld.com.
Free smoking! Free parking! Free sunscreen!
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank and Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at www.pbtc.net. People's Bank and Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's. Today's topic, Mother's Day. Just picking out some gifts at Kohl's. There's a KitchenAid mixer calling my name. Your name? Doing some self-gifting, huh? Nah, that's for my mom. Baking's her love language. Love that. The Fitbit, that's for me. Getting it for the self-care and the Kohl's cash. That's a big deal. So's the 20% off and free store pickup. I can get it all in less than an hour. Talk about shopping goals.
20% offer valid April 28th through May 2nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hi, Conrad Bellman at Bellman's Car Nection in St. Peters. Right now, we're paying top dollar for your pre-owned vehicle. At Bellman Car Nection, we'll take anything on trade, van, Jeep, truck. Spring into a quality pre-owned car, truck, Jeep, SUV, or van today. The inventory is always fresh, so hurry in today before someone else buys the one you want. Bellman's Car Nection in St. Peters at Highway 70 and 370, where you will never pay the max. Online at carnection.com.
Fever is a leading symptom of the coronavirus, so take your temperature twice a day with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It's quick and easy to use, and its accuracy is backed by more than 80 clinical studies. Have your family start and end their day with the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Your family can take their temperatures in seconds to know where they stand in the fight against COVID-19. Protect your family from the spread of this deadly disease and stay safe with Exergen.
Over the past year, I've helped thousands turn their lives around. And today, I'm going to tell you the one simple trick that will change everything. All you have to do is...
And now a message from our sponsor.
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat, RV, or other outdoor vehicle for great protection and even more savings. Progressive.
And that's it. You'll have that for the rest of your lives. I'm so excited for you.
Progressive. There's never a bad time for great protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Push dirt and boundaries. Seidenstricker Nobe Partners has great financing, lease, and warranty options on our compact construction equipment. Right now, save up to $2,500 on a brand new John Deere compact track loader with a competitive trade-in. Looking for a partner you can trust? Our dedicated service and sales departments are waiting to help. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the job site. snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 5/31/21. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Remember chasing the ice cream truck when you were a kid?
Wait!
Well, this is much better, and you don't have to chase it down. Clementine's Naughty and Nice Creamery, now open in Lake St. Louis at the Meadows Shopping Center. All natural, handcrafted ice cream with unique flavors that change weekly. Vegan and gluten-free options as well. Take home a pint or enjoy a scoop, and you'll love the outdoor patio. And you know it's got to be great because they were featured in Oprah Magazine's coveted O list in 2019. Clementine's Naughty and Nice Creamery.
Here comes more of the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Edge with Chris Knight, Tabitha, Hassell, and Vic Faust. Happy that it's Friday. I hope you guys are too. Can't wait. We're going to get ready to talk with Colonel Joe Adams here at 8:30. Then we're going to talk with Dr. Naputi at 9 o'clock. All right, if you want to share the show, we always say at 100.7 The Viper. We're going to get rocking and rolling here. If anybody cares, I certainly don't. Eric Johnson's AWOL again. He's probably learning how to tie his shoes this morning. I have no idea.
Or he's getting the vaccine.
Who knows what he's doing? But, Eric is nice on his own terms, but he didn't even call us to let us know. But that's all right. That's
Thanks, Eric.
Kind of selfish, but he's a former rock star.
It's still early.
Well, he can at least answer his text.
Yeah.
The rest of us show up. If you don't show up for work, you let your boss know. So, and he didn't. But once again, we won't worry about him. The only problem is he waited this long before we could have got a real host like Brad Young in. And that's unfortunate because Brad is awesome. So maybe Eric will answer his text. Maybe he'll show up. We don't know. But we got bigger fish to fry, like the Colonel coming up. Can't wait. Been waiting for it all week. Looking forward to the man who knows more about the border than anybody. So Colonel Joe's going to be calling us in just a second. It's Friday. I hope you guys have some great plans set for the weekend. Tabitha, after one break, are you feeling any better? Are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to...
I just get mad every minute of the morning and throughout today. I'm just going to become more mad because I want a magical passport for my magical blood and no one's giving me one. They're saying I still have to wear a mask even though I've had COVID and I have antibodies. I don't understand why I still have to wear a mask and why I'm being told that I'm not safe to be around when I cannot become infected and I cannot transmit the virus like someone who has been vaccinated.
I get it. I get your point. But once again, we'll get into that a whole lot at 9 o'clock because at 11:30 today, Dr. Sam Page, St. Louis County Executive, and St. Louis City Mayor Tashard Jones will have a joint press conference to talk about new guidelines when it comes to the restrictions, so to speak, and they're going to be following the CDC guidelines, which, as Tabitha was just talking about, now state that if you're, quote, fully vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask. And all of the local officials we talked to yesterday and restaurant owners are basically like, listen, you take your own health into your own hands. That's basically where we are now. If you haven't been vaccinated and don't wear a mask, then you can get COVID. Garza said it's still out there in the air. So, that's that. So we'll see where it goes from that standpoint. But a lot of talk about the vaccine coming up at 9 o'clock. Now, a major story that you're not seeing nationally because of everything that's going on from a COVID standpoint, from a vaccine standpoint, is what has been going on at the border now. Really, really serious stuff for over 2 months. And it hasn't been in the national headlines as much, but it's still happening. We're talking about major amounts of people crossing the border illegally, and we don't know who they are. And on top of it, not being tested for COVID. Of course, all the people coming across were not masking either.
Right.
They didn't have vaccines, that's for sure.
They don't need to. They're fine. I mean, come on.
So we're going to be dealing with that situation as well coming up. Colonel Adams calling in here. So if you have questions, we'll go ahead and do that. And that's where we are. So at this point in time, we welcome in Colonel Joe Adams, who was a huge guest for us about a month and a half ago, arguably one of the most popular guests that we've had. And we've talked about it before, and we'll get into more about Colonel in just a moment and throughout the next 30 minutes. But he worked the U.S.-Mexico border for 12 years. At one point in time, heard about $1 million hit out for him by the cartel. He saved countless women and children from being trafficked on the Mexico-U.S. border, and he visited the border just a few weeks ago. Colonel, you were a huge hit the last time, just sharing your life experiences. Welcome to the show. How have you been, my friend? Are you staying healthy?
Oh, yeah, everything's fine. Like I said, we just came back from the border, but thanks for having me on your show. I've got some information that you won't see anywhere or hear anywhere else.
let's. Can we start with the information then, Colonel, right out of the gate? You were at the border a couple weeks ago, and you just said you've got information.
Yeah, I mean, it's like entering into the theater of the absurd. I took a media crew down there to do some stories and to see the real thing. So what I did, I worked up in the Cartel Pass, which is the #1 drug trafficking route into the United States from Mexico, largest in the country, by the way. And there were some strange things that happened when I was down there. When I was down there, I was actually talking with some Border Patrol agents on site that I know and remember me from my 12 years there. First of all, there is no coronavirus program or anti-coronavirus program at all of those facilities down there in Texas, with all the family groups coming across. They're not being tested until they're shipped out. Now, I look at the administration wearing double masks and up until yesterday, and distancing and all that. But at the same time, we're busing these family members and unaccompanied children all over the United States, and they're tested as they leave. And even if they're tested positive, they're still shipped out with no quarantine. So this man in the White House is telling us all these precautions to take over these past months is totally ignoring the fact that he's taken the virus and actually mailing it to people in communities all over the country. And it's going on as we speak. And I find that just so hypocritical. The other thing, now, that you're not going to find this anywhere in the media or any kind of publication. So I went down there and visited an old ally of mine who's a rancher down in the Naco area, Naco, Arizona, and his backyard is the fence. Now, his ranch is 3 miles by 11 miles long, but he can basically hit the fence with a handgun out from his back door. And when I was talking to Border Patrol and him down there, and I wanted to go down and see where the Trump fence started, where it ended. I've got a lot of information on that, by the way, also. So we see on the media how he shut down the construction of the fence. Well, first of all, the contractors never left. They're still on payroll. They were there and waiting. I talked to the contractors in person, and they didn't go anywhere. They were kind of in a holding pattern because they knew something was going to happen for them to complete the fence or the construction in certain sectors. Now, the public sees these open areas in the fence. There'll be a fence 5 miles long, and there'll be one section of the fence is wide open. Now, why did they do that? Well, those are floodgates to be installed because the environmentalists wanted those installed, and through the political pressure, they made it part of the construction project. So these open areas where the fence stops and starts and continues on is nothing more than the construction pattern to put in the floodgates for when there's monsoon rains down there, and environmentally for migration of certain species into the United States from Mexico and back and forth. That's why those openings are there. They didn't finish the fence, and they didn't get a chance to finish the floodgates. Those are the openings. Now, let me tell you about the floodgates. No sooner than certain floodgates in areas down there were installed, they have these huge locks on them the size of a softball, huge, massive locks, a series of locks. Well, guess who has the keys to those locks? The drug cartels.
Well, of course.
First thing I'm not joking.
Oh, I know, because they're earning, $14 million a week, isn't it, right now?
Or a day.
Yeah, maybe so a day.
But I talked to ranchers who physically saw the cartels open the floodgates.
Absolutely so, because they are in control, Joe. So 3 things here that I want to touch base on, and we'll backtrack. 1, COVID. I know that there are some illegals crossing who aren't being tested at all. And even those who are tested, as you said, who are tested positive, they are being loaded onto public transportation buses and being bussed all over the country, even though they have active COVID. They're not being required to wear masks. They're not being required to be vaccinated. Completely different rules, because you know why? Because it's all theater for the rest of us Americans to take away our freedoms by scaring everyone, telling us all we're going to die if we don't wear a mask, if we don't get vaccinated, etc. And then as far as people being found, ranchers and so on, finding bodies and that type of thing by their border wall. A lot of people don't understand that's been going on forever, because guess what? Whenever they promote illegal crossings, that perpetuates human trafficking, sex trafficking, homicide, all sorts of things. They find bodies out there all of the time. And the cartels, they control everything. And too many people don't understand that. And our government is playing right into that. You cannot tell me that our government is not working with these cartels in some way.
Well, without a doubt, follow the money. I mean, I can resolve the cartel issue in 24 hours if they would let me, but they won't. They won't allow that because it's just.
Who's Joe? Who's they?
Correct.
Colonel, who is they?
Our government.
Of course they won't.
Our government.
But
And
even when Trump was in?
And here I'm going to skip ahead, and then I'm going to come back. And you cannot talk about the drug cartels in Mexico and the violence and the terrorism without talking about the Mideast. Now, people don't understand the tie in there, and I'll get back to that if I have time. This is a much larger. This is a global problem versus just drug cartels. The other thing that I found very curious down there when I was just there, and a lot of times, first of all, Border Patrol's got a gag order on them. They could not talk to the media people I had with me, but of course they would talk to me. So they basically shuttled the media people back in the vehicles and then took me off to the side and tells me what's going on. And here was a strange thing. I had not heard of this before. There's a retired or former Secret Service contractors. They have an organization and a company made up totally of retired or former Secret Service. Now, I happen to know that company are the ones who move our prisoners in Guantanamo, because the people in Guantanamo are very, very dangerous. And being the Secret Service, other than the Marine Guard down there, the Secret Service is more apt for security, moving people safely. You see the picture? Now, the interesting thing is these contractors out of Guantanamo are now in Texas. And when ICE has a certain type of group of individuals, they're not put on the buses and moved. They're turned over to the Secret Service. Now, what's that all about? And I'll get to that. It's going back to the Mideast. Okay, this is all everything ties into the Mideast. So I'm not going to give you the name of the company. I'm just going to tell you this is happening. Now, this is brand new information. I had no knowledge of this at all. The entire 12 years that I was there, leaving there in like 2018, 2019, I never heard of that before. And we call them OTMs, and that's other than Mexicans. OTMs, immigrants or illegal aliens of interest, special interest groups, which are foreign nationals as far as the Mideastern types, that kind of thing. I've seen the Middle Eastern people in full battle gear coming across the border, by the way, and you know that. I've told you that before. But so the Border Patrol has went back now and inviting welders and are welding the locks shut on the floodgates, and they'll be opened at a different time. But the cartel, within a week, had keys to those locks and would just open them up and drive vehicles through. We just stop them. Understand, the Border Patrol can't see each other. If you've got two agents in one spot in one vehicle, they're out of sight of the other agents. We need 3 times as many Border Patrol agents as we have right now to properly man the border, which is a whole other issue. Anyway, tying in to one of the great heroes of Texas right now, I have to give Texas Governor Abbott incredible credit for what he's trying to do. And this administration needs to pay more attention to the governors of these bordering states. They are in dire straits. So last Wednesday, Governor Abbott wrote another letter to the Biden administration and urging the president and vice president to designate Mexican drug cartels as a foreign terrorist organization. Now, can you believe we haven't done that already?
It should have been done a long time ago.
Donald Trump did talk about doing that during his campaign for presidency. He talked about it. It never happened. Unbelievable. Abbott says the cartels meet all 3 criteria of terrorist designations. And Governor, this is a great man. It takes a lot of guts to stand up and do this right to the president's face. He says these cartels are bringing terror into our communities. These are his words. They smuggle narcotics, weapons in the United States to fund their illegal enterprises. They force women and children into the human sex trafficking to enrich themselves because of the misery and enslavement of immigrants. They murder innocent people, including women and children, and these cartels are foreign terrorist organizations. Don't forget I talk about the Mideast, okay? And it's time for the federal government to designate them as such. Now, why would we want to designate the cartels as a terrorist organization? Because it'll free up different types of resources to fight that crime, not only at our border, but inside Mexico. I mean, Pakistan is still pissed off that we killed Osama bin Laden and we didn't ask their permission. It's the same type of situation. According to the letter that went to the President Biden, the cartels are foreign organizations. The cartels regularly engage in terrorist activities, and the terrorist activities threaten the security of the United States nationals or the national security of the United States. I mean, duh, no-brainer. There's one step further than that we should be doing, but we can't do that until at least they declare the drug cartels as a terrorist organization.
Which will never happen.
They provide, now here it comes again, now it's going to squeeze over to the Mideast. They provide material support and resources to foreign terrorist organizations. We know that. They're in bed with Hamas. It's a federal crime to extraterritorial jurisdiction, punishable in some cases by life imprisonment. Oh, whoopee. They need to be extinguished. Criminal sentences significantly longer for drug traffickers and who fund foreign terrorist organizations. Now, Abbott sends a letter off last Wednesday, right? You don't get a response. No word. No, we received your letter. Nothing. And to find out, this is his fourth letter, including the same criteria, and have no response back from the administration.
Because we don't want to solve these problems, Joe. We don't want to solve crime.
We clearly don't. We're talking with Colonel Joe Adams, retired Marine, worked in over 40 countries, training up armies, including the Burmese Uprising, which Rambo 3, the movie Rambo 3, Sylvester Stallone, was based upon. Colonel Joe Adams was nominated for Congressional Medal of Honor for his work on the border, 12 years working the border, knowing it inside and out better than anybody. Once again, for those who are just joining us, at one point in time, had even heard of $1 million hit on his life put out by the cartel. Thankfully, Joe Adams is still with us. He's a St. Louis native, and I can tell you this much. His neighbors are very, very, very comfortable no matter what happens in this world because the colonel has...
I know some of Joe's neighbors.
He's got a tank. He's got the coolest gun range underneath his home and what Clayton police call the best military stash you're going to find anywhere. Colonel, we're having some fun with that, but the serious point is where we are right now. You were there a couple weeks ago, and you sent me a picture. I gave it to Chris, where we could also show, and we'll put that up for our Facebook watchers right now as well. Chris,
well, I would. I mean, it's a horrible, fact, but that's what's going on down here, and they're everywhere, and that's one of the cartel boys. That's one of their mules. Whatever happened to him, I don't know. It was a young man, very, very young. And,
that's a shame.
Probably early teens and maybe even 11 or 12 years old.
So the picture that we're putting up right now in a moment, it's of a, I guess it's of a head or a corpse, so to speak.
Well, it's part of the corpse. The animals had already tore it all apart.
And that's common, isn't it, Joe, to find bodies on ranch land? I mean,
when homicide, because I have to call in homicide and report this stuff, then I got to stay there all day and they process it and for trauma, all that kind of thing. And they asked me, they said, hey, Colonel, we know you've been down there a long time because we've got lots of calls from you. He said, how many bodies do you think you found in your career down here? I go, bodies? I mean, like illegals, or you mean deceased? He goes, deceased. I go, my team looked at each other, and I go, I don't know, I guess about 1,000.
Exactly.
And I'm just one person.
Right.
But I do work we did work in the dangerous areas out there, which is more apt for people to get hurt.
And people don't understand. They don't get it, Joe, that some of these women and children that come across the border, they're gang raped. They're tied to trees. I mean, terrible, inhumane things.
A rape tree out there. Once
exactly.
they rape a a young girl, then they take her undergarments and hang them in trees out there just as a trophy.
Exactly.
Colonel, we're getting some questions from the line as well, and we encourage you if you have some questions, and we'll go with this. That's why we had some time to breathe with the Colonel. We got about, 11 minutes left, 12 minutes left, something like that.
I'm trying to get this and tie this into the Mideast and show you how
That's exactly, and I was going to get us back, if you could get this back into the Middle East, because, we're a surface society, and everything is a lot deeper, so if you could continue, that would be great.
Okay.
How do you
do it now?
Yes,
right
yes,
now?
sir. Absolutely,
okay.
Colonel.
I thought you were going to break. Okay. First of all, it's common knowledge within the intelligence community that Hamas is in bed with the drug cartels. In fact, the three main sources of money to the Hamas and the other terrorist groups over there are Syria, Iran, and the drug cartels. The drug cartels supply the narcotics for the Hamas to distribute worldwide. So now we've got a natural tie-in between the cartels and international terrorism, because the terrorism is not just limited to Israel right now, it's all over the planet, and they're all tied together. We know for a fact, and it's even tied to Afghanistan, because now if we talk about Jerusalem, the Al-Qaeda now has connections in Jerusalem, and so does the Mujahideen out of Afghanistan, which used to be our allies, the Mujahideen. I had dealings with the Mujahideen in the early days, during the Reagan administration, and of course they've turned and sided with the Taliban. The Hamas, now I'm going to inject this because this is kind of sad. Black Lives Matter came out a couple of days ago and said they've now sided with policies with the Hamas because they're fighting the same type of war. That's a really bad publicity move for Black Lives Matter.
But Obama funded Hamas. A lot of people don't understand that under the Obama administration, the United States actually sent funds to Hamas. So I'm not shocked by that at all.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, but at the same time, you should see the Obama fence built on the border, which I didn't even know existed. Obama was building the fence, and the reason Trump went to 30 feet because Obama was only 20 feet. And the Obama fence around Naco is complete with concertina wire on top and down the sides. So Obama was building fence the entire time under the radar, and he didn't want to talk about it. And as far as him taking it in like Obama, because Obama's policies, you know why they killed Osama bin Laden? Because during the Obama administration, because that's collateral damage. Osama bin Laden has served his purpose. He was finished. He was such a hot potato. Nobody would come near him, and of course some people did, and they gave him up. But they were through. He was throwaway. He's collateral damage. He was a publicity gag. That's all that was. He was finished in that world. So, but these people don't understand that, well, first of all, the Hamas and Hezbollah have been building sophisticated underground networks in the Gaza and in getting into Israel at the Strip for decades. And there's super sophisticated engineers building tunnels.
Right, like a city underground, from what I've heard.
It is. But now, if you notice, about the same time that Hamas started buying narcotics from the drug cartels in Mexico, all of a sudden the tunnels in Mexico coming into the United States got very sophisticated. Who do you think built and engineered the drug lord El Chapo? Who do you think designed and built that escape tunnel for El Chapo? It was the Hamas.
With U.S. funding.
Tie-in to the Mideast. We're talking about people here that work on a continuous basis. What is happening in the Mideast can happen in Mexico. What's happening in Mexico is working in the Mideast. They're all tied together. They're all terrorists.
And that's why they didn't want Trump as our president, Joe.
Is not recognized as a terrorist state. What we should do is not only declare Mexico, not Mexico, but the drug cartels in Mexico a terrorist state, but declare war, officially declare war on the cartel. And that takes the gloves off. Recognizing them as a terrorist organization, you still got the gloves on. You got to take the gloves off. If the administration in this country truly wants to stop the damage and the horrific humanitarian disaster that's going on with the drug cartels, considering them a terrorist organization is not enough. We need to declare war on a cartel and go after them. We have the facilities. We have the logistics. We can do it. We know where they're at. We can do this, but we won't do it.
Colonel, we've got about 6 minutes left or so, and I thought 30 minutes would be enough time.
We could talk to you for every day of the week, Joe.
Let's talk about the aspect of how it affects suburbia. Everybody who lives their comfortable lives in America, and what is going on at the border right now, and all of these ties that you talk about, what you see happening. And I know it's just your opinion, but you have much more of an educated guess than any of us because you've been there, you've lived it, you're in it. You had the $1 million hit out on your head by the cartel. How is this going to affect our comfortable lives that we live in the United States of America?
I just think all of a sudden one day, and people, like especially around where I live, if people just don't recognize the big picture, how it's going to affect them. You're going to turn around someday and you're going to think, "Oh my God, what have we done? We should have done this. We shoulda, coulda, woulda."
It'll be too late. People won't do that, Joe, until it knocks on their door. And people don't understand, because if they don't see it and they don't experience it, they don't get it. How many terror attacks in this country have been foiled that we don't even know about? There have been hundreds of them just recently, and people don't understand.
No, they don't. And they also, now we do have dark ops operations going. And I will tell you that we have sent special ops teams into Mexico and taken out some cartel headquarters and rescued. In fact, one of the, I won't mention the particular branch of the service, but that associates of mine are still in, went in and rescued hundreds of children was captured by the cartel to be sold overseas, and we went in and took them out and killed every single cartel member and guard in the facilities. Killed every one of them.
Was that under Trump or Biden?
Under Trump.
Of course.
Biden.
I know.
No,
I had to ask just to clarify for the listeners.
That's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. He's canceled all those programs.
What conscious president would distribute coronavirus throughout the United States deliberately? And also there's the word deliberately. You know, if this was which is scarier, the fact that this is all just negligence on his part, or is it deliberate? Which is more dangerous?
Joe, I listened to everything you say, and like most of the people that listen to the show are like, man, what can be done? What can change anything? Because we hear this grim picture when you're talking about Middle East ties to Mexico, to cartels coming into the country, being funded by United States money. Where does it end? Where does the cycle end? Because you know as well as I do, we're not going to be declaring anybody a terrorist state anytime soon.
No, I mean, when we elect people or officials like this and put them in a position of power, that's what you end up with, period. I mean, there's a large group of individuals that are in political position in this country that are trying to destroy America. If this is not asymmetrical warfare, nothing is. Asymmetrical, I'm sorry. This is definitely a war against the United States and what we stand for. You know, and I just saw, just kind of comical, I saw where Biden last week said that the former heads of the Fed were all in favor of his new jobs policy and extended welfare policy that he's going to input. And to find out that there's two of the officials he's referring to aren't even alive.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Dead.
That's insane.
And then they got this new law or demand from the White House that all quotes have to be ran by the White House before they're published. And then, of course, they came back and said, "Oh no, that was a mistake in his speech. He meant the IRS." What's the IRS got to do with the Fed? It's got nothing to do. IRS are the people that want to hang you upside down and shake your pockets out and get your last dime. That's their job. Has nothing to do with the economy and jobs production. Got nothing to do with that. But just shows you how crazy this administration is. I mean, it's really the theater of the absurd.
Hey, Joe, I want to backtrack to something you said that some of the listeners may have missed. When you stated that President Biden is distributing COVID to American citizens, I'm assuming you mean the COVID virus that's in the vaccine that perhaps you wouldn't have gotten otherwise?
No, he's talking about the people coming into the country.
Oh, okay. I was confused about that.
His policy is he's putting people on buses, shipping them all over the country. it tests positive for COVID.
Correct. While he's wearing
Now,
double masks and scaring everyone else.
If you would see the new tent refugee camp down there in Texas, you wouldn't believe it. It looks like something one of those Nigerian refugee camps or a Somali refugee camp.
Well, we haven't seen pictures of that.
City in itself.
Yeah. Hey, Colonel.
At least quarantine somebody. Why would you? If I had coronavirus, aren't I quarantined?
We're supposed to be.
These people are here illegally. We don't even know who they are. They're reselling children twice back to different cartels to resell them to come into this country to overwhelm the system. This is insane. We are in the theater of the absurd.
Hey, Colonel, you've been amazing. Our listeners appreciate the insight, the service that you've given this country. Would you come back on with us again?
Oh, I've got some. I was talking to your buddy Mark Ryan the other day.
I was supposed to give you a shout out. He's
him.
listening.
His head was spinning.
Yeah.
But if you want to, I thought, who's that? Cory Bush, which he's a new senator.
Yeah, U.S.
I thought about calling her because I recently got involved in an undercover operation involving gun trafficking to North County. Gun runners openly selling guns to people in North County who want the weapons for nefarious reasons. And I pretty much closed that case, but unfortunately nothing was acted upon. But I know how a lot of the weapons, in fact, my information is most of the weapons that are being sold illegally to people who can't normally buy guns or don't want a gun in their name or just want the gun because, for bad reasons. But a lot of the deaths that's going on up in North County and the shootings, I know where the guns are coming from, and we can talk about that at a later time.
No, hey, I'll be in touch. Colonel, we got to get to a break.
I bet you will.
Hey, once again, thank you for your service. Thank you for the information. And we'll get back in contact with you. If somebody can get you on Facebook, check out the comments that people are giving you because we already know that people in police and military work get no thank yous, but they're so important, the jobs that are being done.
And one other thing,
Thanks again.
Yeah. I have, as of January the 30th of this year, I am organizing a new Missouri militia.
I will be one of your first members to sign up.
Can we get you on next week to talk more about it?
Yeah, I mean this is a very, very big deal.
All right.
And we need to show people how a true militia operates. My group on the border for 12 years operated with the government and Border Patrol and ICE, FBI successfully. I'm going to do the same thing in Missouri.
All right.
Excellent.
Colonel, have an awesome weekend. I'll be in touch, all right?
Thank you.
All right, we got to take a quick break. Dr. Naputi's here. Hey, if you thought that was good, just wait. The show continues on. It's a fun Friday after what the CDC said, and we thank you for everybody. Share the show, 100.7 The Viper. EricNaputi.com. Coming right up after this. Chris Knight's here, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust. We are just getting started on this Friday morning. Let that sink in. Back right after this.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
Keep your resolution to quit cigarettes this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. I Quit Vapor carries the salt nicotine systems, their latest juice flavors, and all of their pod systems. Let their staff explain why the salt nicotine system is so effective in helping you to quit cigarettes for good. It has a much smoother delivery and allows you to adjust the amount of nicotine intake. I Quit Vapor is still your one-stop shop for everything vapor. Keep your quit cigarette resolution this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. Puff bars and disposables now available.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
Live on 100.7
The Viper.
All right, is that a Q2 or a Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA. To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you or a loved one suffering because of an open wound that just won't heal? It could be a few weeks or even years, but you've lived with it too long. For wounds that won't heal, our team of specialists at BJC Healthcare have the advanced tools you need. We'll personalize your wound treatment plan at our Advanced Wound Center on Highway K because healing quickly is your best medicine. Make your appointment today by visiting healyourwounds.org or call 636-928-WELL.
An important message from Quiver River Electric Cooperative. During this unprecedented time in our world, we want to emphasize our commitment to continue delivering reliable power while keeping our members and employees safe. Our linemen are taking precautions to stay socially distanced. Other employees are working from home. Although we've adjusted our operations, we want you to know that we are still here and we will continue to keep the lights on. For more, visit quiver.com or call us at 1-800-392-3709. Quiver River Electric, a Touchtone Energy Cooperative.
Now another hour of the Edge Morning Show on KFNS Troy St. Charles and KYRO AM and FM Troy. The Edge Morning Show.
Jackson's Automotive and Wrecker Service in Ellsbury has an immediate opening for an experienced auto mechanic and tow truck driver. If you're up to the challenge of working at a busy auto shop with competitive pay, apply in person at Jackson's Automotive and Wrecker Service, 109 South Main in Ellsbury, or find out more on Facebook at Jackson's Automotive and Wrecker Service.
Experience golf courses from around the world with a trip to Cottleville. That's right, at Benediction Golf in Cottleville, you can virtually play Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, Sawgrass, Augusta, or one of hundreds of other courses around the world. At their comfortable indoor facility on Highway N by Rack House. It's BYOB and bays are only $50 an hour, so bring a foursome and compete. Or check your swing with the SkyTrax launch monitor and shot analytics in real time. Benediction Golf, benedictiongolf.com on Facebook and Instagram.
Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peters carries a full line of automotive parts and paints. They're a PPG Platinum distributor of automotive paint and industrial coatings and auto body shop supplies for over 40 years. Your hometown auto parts store is Midnight Auto. Stop in at Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peters, just off Mexico Road, 447-4000, 447-4000, on the web at mid-niteautosupply.com.
Viper Weather with legendary chief meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, this is Viper meteorologist Dave Murray. It is Friday. Partly sunny skies, another pretty day, but temperatures still just a touch below average. 70 will do it for the high. Tonight, increasing clouds, dry for any evening plans. Better overnight temperatures, 55. The weekend, Saturday, clouds, some limited scattered showers around. No all-day rain, 70. But increasing rain late Saturday night and Sunday. Sunday will bring scattered showers and some non-severe thunderstorms, but I'm not thinking all-day rains. 72 will do it for the high on Sunday. From the Viper Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Now back to the Edge on 100.7, The Viper.
Quiver River Electric, a Touchstone Energy Cooperative. The Edge Morning Show.
Local headlines now with Fox 2's Vic Faust.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We'll get some quick headlines in here. Thanks for keeping up with us on this Friday. We are jam-packed. Dr. Eric Caputi coming up in just a moment, following the Colonel, arguably the best show that we've ever had. So we're grateful for everybody. And, of course, here's your headlines. Let's talk sports first. How about those Blues? They finished up the regular season. They won last night 7-3. I think the Chief got into somebody's ass after the first period. They were down 3-0. In the last game of the year that didn't mean anything. Clearly, they didn't show up to play. And bam, second period, they come out, they light it on fire. They scored 7 straight goals. Playoffs start Monday night, 9 o'clock against the Avalanche. It won't be easy, but hopefully it'll be fun. How about those first-place Cardinals? Something else to smile about. They beat the Brewers 2-0 yesterday. They take 2 or 3 against their division rival. They have a 3-game lead in the series. They're one of the best teams in Major League Baseball now, and they're heading to the West Coast to take on the Padres in a weekend series. How about some more good news, some different headlines today? Everybody heard that Kansas City supposedly has good barbecue, right? I've heard it. Well, not in the latest poll that was brought out. How about this? St. Louis finished 8th. 8th in the country in best barbecue, beating out Kansas City. Kansas City wasn't even in the top 20. This is by Chef's Pencil, by the top 30 cities. Number 1, though, New Orleans. Oklahoma City, number 2. Charlotte, number 3. Durham, North Carolina, the top 20 finishes in at 20. Okay, the big news, we're going to get ready to talk about it. CDC guidelines coming out yesterday stated if you've been fully vaccinated, you don't no longer need to wear a mask inside or outside. St. Louis City, St. Louis County doing a dual press conference today at 11:30 to say that they're going to have similar restrictions now. What does that mean? We'll find out at 11:30. We're going to talk more about it with Dr. Naputi in a moment. But that was the big news that was coming out of the situation with that news. We'll also get to your weather coming up. Should be decent today, but we got rain for the weekend throughout the St. Louis area. A Franklin County father charged with murder after his child shoots himself. It's a sad story. It's on fox2now.com. And also, check out this. A missing Farmington teen has family worried. Go look at her picture on fox2now.com. Back with more Edge right now.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
Tabitha's giving me some looks. It's Friday.
That was the fastest I've ever heard you read the headlines.
Woo!
I'm like, that amp coffee has kicked in.
Has it?
You're like,
well, then I like it. Like the old, what were the commercials? I'll be on the news today. Like the guy, they talk like really fast like this, and everybody. What was it?
Micro Machine, man. Remember the Micro Machine?
Micro Machine?
Talk as much as you get a Micro Machine, another Micro Machine.
Yeah, but I can't remember what commercial it's in with. I can't
the Micro Machine, wasn't
I thought it was for like
I don't
Hertz
know.
or something. We do things faster than everybody else. We do this.
No. It's all good.
That's what Amp Coffee will do to you. Hey, welcome to The Edge with Dr. Eric Naputi, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2 News. Thanks again to Colonel Joe. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you do. The countless years of service, what you're doing on the border and giving people a wake-up call of what's actually going on. And yes, I was texted. We will get the Colonel back on
yes, we
week.
will. And we will find out more about this militia.
Oh, he scared me.
Because I can
knew
guarantee
you,
you,
excited about that. The
I am
last thing
joining
we
the
need
militia.
you to do is go join a militia, Tabitha.
I was going to start my own militia, but he's better at it than I am.
So we'll get Colonel Joe back on. But in studio, for the first time in a while, our friend, Dr. Eric Naputi of the Naputi Wellness Center.
Hey, good morning morning, everybody.
Welcome. And it's only appropriate that you're on the show on a Friday morning after the CDC says what they says yesterday. Your initial thoughts, because word is today is that we're basically going to be told by Sam Page and Tashar Jones, if you've been vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask. And if you haven't been vaccinated, please wear a mask, but we can't stop you from not.
All I can say, and I mean this with as much humble pie as I can possibly say, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. It is so good to be with you all today. I don't even know where to begin, but let's get after it. I don't know if you've all seen this. First of all of you that are watching right now on social media, hit the share, the like button. I see people that are watching from all over the world, Australia, the UK, all over the place are watching right now. Hit the share button because we need to break the internet today because the suppression of information is bigger than we've ever had, and I can promise you, they being the people that have completely screwed this thing up from the beginning, do not want the people, we the people, to know the truth. So, you want to talk about what happened? Don't you think it's an ironic coincidence that by the way, an amazing American, Senator Rand Paul, completely destroys the fraud Tony Fauci that he is. And did you all see the clip? Have you all seen that?
This week, and it's not the first time what Dr. Naputi's talking about. By the way, for those who don't know, that is Dr. Rand Paul, who is also a politician who is Fauci's nemesis. And when I say nemesis, his master, his father, because Rand Paul owns him in these hearings.
So not only did he own him, Fauci lied in front of the Senate. And so Tucker Carlson, which I couldn't believe that this story, that Tucker broke it. I was blown away when I saw it. I know 2 or 3 other people that were getting ready to break this thing. I don't know if Tucker scooped it, but he literally stepped up and really teed this thing up about what's going on with the virus, what happened in Wuhan, China, what's happening now. I'm telling everyone listening, the house of cards is falling.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, here's what I'd like to do. If it's cool, would you guys, Chris, you got that first clip? This is a clip I want to tee this up. I want you guys to hear this clip. This is a clip from Tucker Carlson's show the other night. I want to play the beginning of it. It's about 1.5 minutes long. I need everybody to listen to this. Those of you guys that are listening right now on social media and everywhere, hit the share and like button. Listen to this, and then I want to comment on it. So blow that thing up.
This is a pretty good,
we can.
Daszak bragged about how easy it is to manipulate coronaviruses in lab experiments.
But Chris, are you ready?
Coronaviruses are pretty good. I mean, you're a virologist, you know all this stuff, but you can manipulate them in the lab pretty easily. It's just spike protein drives a lot.
This is national news, and Fox News didn't post the whole entire deal.
Why?
Like, they didn't post it because of the fear porn that's happening right now. I mean, look at what's happened. Look at what they tried to do to me for speaking the truth. Look at what they tried to do from other doctors that speak the truth. So to tee this up, Tucker Carlson comes out and he talks about how what's really happened. Fauci gets, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday of this week, Fauci comes out. We find out that he says, you know what? You're right. Less than 1% of spread actually happens from asymptomatic people. We knew that last year. Less than 1% of spread happens if you are wearing a mask. So masks help at 1% or less. I showed you that March 12th, 2020.
My bosses were dumbfounded when I put it out. Nobody knows what to do with it.
Of course they don't.
Everybody's like, well, but this blows everything up against what we say.
And then the third thing shows that less than 1% of infection actually comes from outside spread. So that gets tripped up. Fauci gets tripped up. The CDC gets tripped up. I can't wait for you to hear this. And then what happens yesterday? Literally the day after Fauci gets found out to lie in front of the Senate, what happens to the CDC? The CDC comes out and says, oh, we're going to go ahead and change our policies. We're going to change our regulations. We got Biden and Kamala come on TV. They take off their mask and they say, it's getting closer. By the way, only people that have the vaccine can take their masks off. That's what's happened. You've been lied to, and lied to. So
Rand Paul should get a lot of credit. And obviously, you've been saying this for a year, Doc, and I give you credit. But Rand Paul was the only person in a position that could put Fauci in this. And I'm glad that you said, and you connected the dots. If you don't think that had anything to do with this, think again. Because it connected. After that press conference, things started to happen. Boom.
Listen to this clip on Tucker. Listen to this first one. Let's talk about this. Go.
So just days after that was shot, it became
Viruses
clear
are pretty good.
that
I mean,
this new version
Daszak
of
bragged
coronavirus,
about
this
how easy it
novel
is to
coronavirus,
manipulate
what we now call
coronaviruses in lab
was running
experiments.
rampant through Wuhan.
Coronaviruses are pretty good. I mean, you're a virologist, you know all this stuff, but you can manipulate pretty easily. It's just spike protein drives a lot of what happens with the coronavirus. Zoonotic risk.
Strenuous and dismissive terms that the Wuhan lab could be in any way linked to the outbreak, since of course he has very personal motives for claiming that. Quote, the idea that this virus escaped from a lab is just pure baloney, he said last year. But that was a lie. It's not pure baloney. And a lot of smart people knew that right away. One of those people is Alina Chan, a molecular biologist at the Broad Institute at Harvard and MIT. She bravely wrote a paper about how the coronavirus's genome hadn't changed much over time, and that was odd because that genome had gone through trillions of replications. According to Chan, that fact implied that the virus was designed for human-to-human transmission from the outset. The former director of the CDC also clearly understood this, and he too argued that the virus came from the Wuhan lab.
I am of the point of view that I still think the most likely etiology of this pathogen in Wuhan was from a laboratory, escaped. Other people don't believe that. That's fine. Science will eventually figure it out. It's not unusual for respiratory pathogens that are being worked on in a laboratory to infect a laboratory worker.
All right, so check this out. So here's the deal. What that clip showed, that was the second clip, but that's okay. What that talked about on Tucker's program, and this is huge. What they said was Tony Fauci for 5 years through the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Disease funded. Let me say this again. Funded. He was the guy that signed off on this. He funded the gain of function studies in the Wuhan laboratories in China.
And he denied this.
He denied it.
In front of Rand Paul.
In front of Senate. Now, but here's the deal. So a company called Echo Health Alliance, who was the director was a guy named Peter Disick. Peter Disick is the guy that the World Health Organization sent from America to go into the lab to say, he came out and said, no, it's this is not a man-made pathogen. This is the fox guarding the hen house. This guy was paid by Fauci's team and signed off by Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, to do gain of function studies on the coronavirus. this guy, this Peter Disick, in the first clip, if you can find that one, but it was him saying it's very easy. He said this on national television in 2019, that it's very easy to manipulate coronaviruses, to take 4 or 5 viruses, put them together, put them on a backbone of another virus, and then make it more infectious to individuals. And then you just heard Dr. Not Rumsfeld. Oh my gosh, he was the former CDC director. I forget his name. Redfield.
And
he just came out and said that he believed that this came from a lab.
Can I point something out really quick?
He also said the kids needed to be back in school last December.
He did. Go ahead,
and then he was gone.
I want to point out that a year ago on this show, we had this information.
Yes, we did.
And I want to reiterate it, that the CIA in the United States keeps tabs on level 4 biolabs. They keep tabs on it. They know every cell phone signal that goes in and out of those labs. The first week of October of 2019, the CIA in the United States noticed that cell phone usage in that lab immediately stopped. Between October 6th and October 12th, completely stopped. There was 0 cell phone traffic inside that lab. We know that lab was evacuated, and we know that is when the leak occurred. We know it happened. They can't deny it.
Guess where that has finally come out? Guess where patient 0 came out of? It was not from a wet market in Wuhan. It was a laboratory worker at the Wuhan Virology
Who visited
Institute.
the wet markets.
So hey, listen to this clip. This is Peter Disick, the guy who is the director of EcoHealth, who got funded by NIH and the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases by Tony Fauci from the government's, from our money, taxpayer money. Chris, you got that clip?
I do.
Play this bad boy. Listen to this, everybody, and hit the share button.
So just days after that was shot, it became clear that this new version of coronavirus, this novel coronavirus, what we now call COVID-19, was running rampant through Wuhan, then China, and then the world. Since then, since the pandemic began, Peter Daszak, not surprisingly, has appeared on virtually every media platform available to him to deny, in the most strenuous and dismissive terms, that the Wuhan lab could be in any way linked to the outbreak, since, of course,
you can manipulate them in the lab pretty easily. It's just spike protein drives a lot of what happens with the coronavirus, zoonotic risk. So you can get the sequence, you can build the protein, and we work with Ralph Barrick at UNC to do this. Insert it into a backbone of another virus, and do some work in the lab.
So what they found, if you go and watch that entire clip, not only do they talk about how they've manipulated the coronavirus to be more infectious for humans, they also said in that clip that they cannot make a vaccine for it. They literally said that in the clip.
And they've not made a vaccine for it. What is out right now, that is not a vaccine. It's more like Tamiflu, because a vaccine actually prevents infection. What we have right now in a COVID vaccine does not prevent infection.
So not to get too far off topic, but check this out. So this guy named Nicholas Wade was the guy who really broke the story, who normally writes for... Go ahead.
Just to give everybody, just so people understand, they know you. Let me tell you, I'm in the journalism business.
Yeah.
He's been writing. He's one of the, if not the number one, but one of the number one health writers, journalists in the world. So when it comes to health, this guy, he doesn't have an agenda, and I know all about him, Eric.
So he wrote this. He's a famous, like you said, journalist. Nobody will publish him. So he got published in what's called Medium.
Everything else.
Yeah, they published this in Medium. You can go to Medium and look at it. And here's what he found. He said, listen, when the laws changed, there was a law that changed that said you cannot do gain-of-function studies on viruses because it's dangerous. And so there was a loophole. Listen to this loophole that he found in the federal moratorium of the funding, which basically says if we're going to fund these studies, they cannot be funded. It's illegal to do gain-of-function studies unless it is to protect national security or public health. So guess who signed off on that as this gain-of-function study was to improve public health and national security? Dr. Tony Fauci. Lock him up, throw away the key. So if that's the truth, and it is, what else are they not telling us? Fauci signed off on this. This is my question, where in the hell is the criminal investigation that should be happening
But
right
where
now?
would the criminal investigation start? It's pretty simple. It's not going to happen because Dr. Fauci's still being hailed as a hero for protecting us. And you know that as well as I do.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, we've got what's real, and you see facts, you see it black and white, but at the same point in time, we've also got the life that we live with in regards to where it's going. All I know is some big stuff happened this week, as you brought up, and you did it so eloquently, and it's so good to have you back in studio, by the way. Dr. Eric Naputi of the Naputi Wellness Center, which leads us, Doc, to where we are now with this whole mask vaccine situation getting kind of, I don't want to say blown up, but
it's falling apart on them.
But
Their
it
narrative is
seems
falling
to
apart.
be.
I mean, let's talk about this for a minute. First of all,
why would the CDC all of a sudden come out yesterday and say this?
Because Fauci got caught in a lie, and he's their fall guy. He's the guy that they put out front.
But America
and he
doesn't realize this.
Well, here's the reality, and I had this conversation with my wife yesterday, and she said, Eric, do you think this is going to help more people wake up? And the reality is this. If you're not awake yet, you have so much cognitive dissonance, you're not going to be awake anyway. I mean, that's just the way it is. You have Munchausen syndrome or whatever brain defect that you've got. Well, here's a special kind of special that doesn't believe this. And you want to talk about another special kind of special? Last night on the news, they're talking about the gas shortages. And guess who the mainstream media blamed for the gas shortages? Donald Trump. They blamed Donald Trump.
I was just guessing. What was the message behind it?
They said, well, his infrastructure should have been more secured, that he should have been more diversified with natural resources and
I think we've seen
renewable
how
energy.
important pipes are.
Are you kidding me? One of my best friends, one of my closest friends, his family helped build the Alaska pipeline. And I said, what's going on with this? He goes, I could go out there with a wrench and turn that on right now. I don't need a computer to do that. He goes, this is BS, bogus, baloney. It's a complete lie, just like everything else that they've been throwing down your face with all the fear porn that's happening. Now, there's another, I want to get into this because you asked about the CDC.
Yeah.
Do you have that Laura Ingraham clip, Chris? I don't know if we can play it or not, but it's the last one I sent you.
For it.
So look,
check it out.
Laura Ingraham report just the other night had an amazing layout. Now Dr. Peter McAuliffe was on there, but what she basically did was she had the clip from the new director of CDC, the female doctor, and she came out and they
Dr. Walensky.
Yes, they completely eviscerated her whenever they clearly stated that they overanalyzed the protection the mask has by almost 100-fold.
They didn't overanalyze it. They lied to us.
Well, that's
because
exactly right.
remember
They
in the
lied to us.
beginning, they said, we don't need masks. Why do you need a mask? They said, nobody needs to worry about masks. Then all of a sudden, everybody has to wear a mask. Then you have to wear 2 masks. And all of a sudden, we're back to, we got that wrong. And it was all about control from day one. It was a playbook.
Of course.
To get us under
And by
control.
the way, Dr. Eric Naputi is in studio with Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, and Vic Faust of Fox 2. As Doc says all the time, share the show wherever you can. If you like what you're hearing to 100.7 The Viper on Facebook as well, as we continue to talk about what's happening in the St. Louis area today, specifically for us here. But we know we have listeners all across the world listening to Dr. Naputi. But because of what the CDC did, now in our area in St. Louis today, there's a press conference with the city and county talking about how all of a sudden they're going to follow CDC guidelines if you've, quote, been fully vaccinated.
Have you guys ever heard of a person by the name of David Copperfield? Remember when he made like the Statue of Liberty disappear or whatever mountain or a pyramid? You know how he did that? He didn't do that through magic. He did that through sleight of hand. He lied to people. Optical illusions. Get your optical illusion glasses on because you're about to get played today, people, and you're about to get played the rest of the week. Why do you think, Vic, back me up on this, why do they do certain stories on Fridays at 3 or 4 o'clock? They call it the 4 o'clock spray.
The 4 o'clock Friday dump.
Yeah, because they're going to dump stuff on people and let them just marinate on it over the weekend. So something is going to happen. I promise you, just like something's always happened, that they're going to try to divert your attention away from this, just like in the past that's happened. The CDC has lied. Tony Fauci has lied. Testing is BS. Did you guys hear this about the testing, by the way? Do you remember a year ago we came on here and I said
the PCR testing?
The PCR testing is BS.
One word you said, amplification.
The guy that created said it's
Of course
BS.
he did, but here's the deal now. The CDC changed their guidelines on testing. If you have been vaccinated, your PCR testing is going to be done at 28 amplification. If you have not been vaccinated, it's going to be done at 42 amplification, which proves more false positives. And now the CDC says the only time someone should get tested if they've been vaccinated is if they are in the hospital or if they have died from suspected COVID-19. Are you freaking kidding me?
I
can't make this
Eric, I
up.
always try to give both sides and keep an open mind. You can't make it up. You really can't. And that's the frustrating part of where we are with this. Okay, some people are getting vaccinated. Some people aren't. Right now, I checked with the state yesterday when it comes to the vaccinations from the other side of this whole situation. And right now in the state, you've got roughly, when it comes to the vaccination rates, as of last week, 4 million vaccine doses have been administered in Missouri. Nearly 2.4 Missourians have initiated vaccines, and more than 1.8 are fully vaccinated. So that's about 38% of Missourians have initiated vaccine, and 15% of Missourians 18 and older have received at least one dose. But that's it. So and there's, as we've said before, people, I know you're frustrated, Tabby, because
I have something
off because people are trying to force you to get.
You're
a vaccine.
right, and I want to make a very valid point.
But
if I
can get the vaccine if you want.
You're right. Can I make a very valid point to everyone right now? Do you know right now in the United States there have been 161,950,581 alleged confirmed cases of COVID? Do you know what that means? That means 162 million people in this country have COVID antibodies. They have active COVID antibodies in their system because they have had COVID. Why does someone who has had COVID need a vaccine? Why are they trying to push people? That's more than half of our country. Why do these people need vaccines? Because I'll tell you what, I use my COVID positive blood to donate antibodies to save people's lives. But yet I am told I have to wear a mask.
Tabitha, you are so right. Never in the history of the world ever, let me repeat that, ever have we said that vaccine, quote unquote, immunology or vaccine resistance against the virus is more powerful than natural immunity. And never, ever have we said if you have natural titers like you just said, Tabitha, with antibodies, that you need to get vaccinated. Ever. We've never said that. They're lying to you again. How
long did the antibodies last? I was going to ask
I had COVID in November, mid-November, and I get antibody tested fairly recently because I'm out of curiosity, not because I care. And I still have antibodies as of 3 weeks ago.
So that's looking at least, 6-7 months?
Exactly.
So your antibodies have lasted about 6-7 months.
That is correct. So why?
Thank God you went and got tested so you could actually give a verified report.
Exactly. I go and get antibody tested because I want to know. I'm doing a little experiment. I want to see how long natural antibodies last because I don't understand why people are trying to tell me that I am not safe to be around over a vaccinated person, because we all know when you get vaccinated, you can still become infected.
Not
you
everybody
can still
knows
transmit
that.
the virus. But guess what? I can't. But why am I being punished?
So did you know that so they're talking about what's called breakthrough cases? You've heard of breakthrough?
Yes.
Breakthrough cases are cases of people that have been fully vaccinated, just like the New York Yankees just had happen to them, and they still get COVID-19 because the vaccine does what the vaccine does and it doesn't do what it doesn't do. And yet that's one of the reasons why the CDC says that if you've been vaccinated, they're going to lower the threshold cycle of your testing because it's not going to show false positives. So they're skewing the numbers, they're skewing the data, they're skewing the definitions. Like, you guys understand, they've changed the definitions of immunity. They've changed the definition of herd immunity. They've changed the definition of what truly is caused by death or death associated with. They've changed it by nomenclature. I remember a show that we did in 2020, and we talked about 1984 Orwell's novel and newspeak and thought crimes and how they changed definitions to fit a narrative. That is what has happened and what's happening. And it's okay if you don't understand it and believe it, that's fine. You go back to the basement and let the adults sort stuff out, because things are about to get real, and we ain't going to let this happen no more, because I am not going to let my children grow up in a world like this. I'm not going to let my patients be lied to and duped, all because there's a narrative to push. And I'm going to tell you right now, the federal government has weaponized the FTC, the DOJ, all these other people to go after folks, to shut them down, and the house of cards is falling. And I think there's also, Tabitha, something going on in the state of Arizona right now with some type of a recount happening.
They don't want a forensic audit.
And we'll get it. We got to take a break, and
All right.
we're going to get into that. But as we go to break, oh, by the way, this week, a St. Louis Blue who had been, quote, fully vaccinated got COVID.
Imagine that.
When these stories pop up, people look at each other in the news business and go, uh-oh. Why did that happen?
When we come back, wait till we break this news with the CDC that we're going to hit. You guys got to hit that share button, tag a friend right now. We'll be right back. This is going to be amazing.
That's Dr. Eric Naputi, the Naputi Wellness Center, ericnaputi.com. Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. It's 9:30. Back with more Edge right after this.
Best music.
For a wide variety of banking services to suit your needs. Stop in at Community State Bank or visit c-s-b.com. Member FDIC.
Are you a business owner looking for funding? Greenbox Capital is here to help by providing easy working capital loans in as little as 24 hours. Visit greenboxcapital.com/apply now to fill out a short form and get started today. With funding from $3,000 to $500,000, Greenbox Capital can help. Visit greenboxcapital.com/apply now to receive a special offer of 10% off cost of working capital. Greenboxcapital.com/apply now and get business funding needed without stress from traditional lenders. Greenboxcapital.com/apply now. Fast funding for small businesses.
Now this is something to get excited about. 21 Days of Beauty is happening now at Ulta Beauty. Get ready to feel fresh, new, and like you again. Give your routine a glow up with daily beauty steals of 50% off the must-haves from brands like Too Faced and First Aid Beauty. And explore the newest arrivals from brands like Tarte and Benefit. Discover endless ways to feel like your best self. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Hurry! This event ends April 3rd. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter.com/find.
Tired of lying awake, tossing and turning, just hoping for a few hours of sleep? Get the sleep you crave with the one-of-a-kind Tempur-Pedic. Only Tempur-Pedic uses proprietary Tempur material that continuously adapts and responds to your body to relieve pressure, so you get deep, uninterrupted sleep all night, every night. The Tempur-Pedic Summer of Sleep is going on now. Take advantage of our best offer of the year and experience your best sleep of the summer. All Tempur-Pedic mattresses are on sale with select savings up to $500. Learn more at TempurPedic.com.
Chances are right now you have a chip or small crack in your windshield, and no matter how much you try to ignore it, it's only going to get worse. Spectrum Glass is the area's leader for both home and auto glass repair and replacement, and Spectrum Glass will come to you, meaning minimal disruption to your busy schedule. They're insurance approved and handle all the paperwork. Look, it's not going to go away, so call Spectrum Glass today at 636-294-1800. Spectrum Glass, 636-294-1800.
Life can change quickly when this happens. When things go sideways, you'll need someone to help handle it. My name is Derek Barker, and I own the Barker Agency. At my office, we spend our days getting folks protection built specifically for them, making your care our top priority. From cars to motorcycles, ATVs to boats, if you can ride it, we can cover it. Even the home you own or the place you rent. You need to make sure you're covered so when this happens, you're not left out in the rain. Without the right protection, it only takes a few seconds for your life to change drastically. And it only takes a few minutes to pick up the phone and speak with a member of my team to make sure you're protected correctly when it does. Call the Barker Agency at 866-D-BARKER or stop by the office at 935 Waterbury Falls Drive in O'Fallon. Make sure to let us know you heard me on the Viper.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to The Edge. Thanks for listening. Dr. Eric Naputi in studio. Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, and Vic Faust of Fox 2. We continue on with what has been an action-packed morning. We appreciate it. Funny story, by the way, somebody asked about Eric Johnson. They hoped he was all right. Eric's just fine. He skipped the show today because he's a coward. Because, literally, he's a coward. You know, he's got a good heart, but he's a coward. And he's afraid because he told people this week to go get vaccinated.
Oh, I think his little dog's injured. No?
We know that's a lie. As Tabitha laughs because she's... Anyway, he acted like a coward because this week, remember, he told people to get vaccinated. Go get vaccinated. I was like, okay, wait till Friday when Dr. Naputi comes in and we'll talk to him. He's like, okay, I'll be there. Oh, then he skips today and he doesn't answer his phone.
Well, listen.
Then he blocks me.
Yeah.
I know. So, Doctor, we're glad you're in studio.
I
Real
get
talk
it.
show
People
host,
are
not a
confused.
coward.
People are confused
Eric's
and scared.
not confused. He's not that stupid.
Well, you know, kids like my kids sometimes won't clean their room unless I bribe them with something. Eric wants to go out and be able to play music and people to watch him. I get it. He thinks the vaccine's going to do that.
He's out playing music.
Nah.
But guess what? It all changes today with the press conference at 11:30. And by the way, you said you just got some breaking news.
I did. I just got an email at 9:26 this morning from the Centers of Disease Control. It was sent out to doctors because remember, I'm part owner of a laboratory. And it is a meeting that we just found out about. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. Individuals performing COVID-19 testing, which I don't do, but my labs perform those. Monday, May 17th from 3 to 4, there's an emergency meeting talking about laboratory systems and changes to PCR testing. Wonder what that's going to be all about, people. Carrie Mullis, the PhD Nobel Prize-winning doctor, says that these tests are not used properly and can't be used to diagnose a disease.
Oh,
now today,
oh my God!
Today we're going to be getting some announcements from our local people, right, Vic?
Oh yeah, Dr. Sam Page and Mayor Tashara Jones at 11:30 having a joint press conference to say that they have an update on COVID restrictions to follow in line with the CDC.
Where do they get all their information from? They always say it comes from the CDC, right? The CDC tells everybody what to do. Dr. Walensky, there was a nice little piece done on her, Dr. Walensky, the head of the CDC, on Laura Ingraham the other day. Chris, you got that piece we can play? I'd love to talk about that. Listen to this, everybody, and hit that share button. Here it comes. Here we go. Boom.
It totally discredited himself.
You got your music playing.
Yeah, we got to get rid of some other stuff here. You guys got to be doing too much stuff.
We got Chris all excited.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's pretty impressive, Chris.
Well, it's pretty ridiculous.
He's doing. I know. I came in last minute and go, play this, play that, play this.
Yeah.
But anyway, when it comes up, let us know. But bottom line is the CDC has been caught with their pants down, and it's Tabitha, like I said, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I said, well, maybe they just misinterpreted the data. Maybe they just read it wrong whenever they said that, masks actually prevent the spread of COVID, even though last year the study done in China and all the other studies that have done prior to that have shown that they do not stop the spread of prevention of COVID-19 or any other viruses. And by the way, I love when I hear Tony Fauci had the audacity to lie to the human population again and say, well, the reason why the virus of flu virus is so low is because, well, people are wearing masks now. That's what he said. So listen to this clip from the CDC. Dr. Walensky, listen to this. Play, Chris.
Top health official to totally discredit himself. CDC Director Rachel Walensky revealed herself to be completely clueless on basic COVID science. Just today, we learned the CDC was overstating the risk of outdoor transmission 100-fold, which led Walensky to make this embarrassing admission.
There's a meta-analysis from Journal of Infectious Diseases that was published in November, I believe, where the top line result of all studies that were included in the systematic review said less than 10% of cases were transmitted outdoors. The top line result was less than 10%. That is where that came from.
Well, she should have just tuned into the Ingram angle over a year ago.
Yep, listen to this. Play this part. Play this. This is last year.
A new study looking at 318 different COVID outbreaks in China found only one of them occurred outdoors. Viral transmission rarely occurs outdoors. Why are those shops open, but outdoor exercise classes not allowed? Joining me now, Dr.
Interesting.
internist
You can shut that down. We don't need to listen to Peter. He's a good buddy of mine. But so the CDC had to admit that wearing a mask outside is completely pointless. And then you got Fauci in front of the Senate saying that, yeah, masks only work less than 1%. And then now we're saying that asymptomatic spread isn't real. I believe that we said that on this program over a year ago. And I believe that we've been screaming that from the mountaintops of Common Sense Health Nation from the very beginning of this whole catastrophic pandemic. So all I can say again is, we told you so, we told you so, we told you so. Why are we not having Freedom Friday right now all across America? Rip off your mask, get your kids back in school, and that's the deal.
It is Freedom Friday. Ripping their mask off today, Doc. Whether people have been vaccinated or not, they're taking their mask off today. They are. Don't you see that happening? Of course they are.
Yeah, of course they are.
At least in St. Louis County, I mean, and St. Louis City. Because the rest of the state has already been operating that way.
Well, and so is, by the way, the majority of the rest of the country has been operating that way as well. It has been a complete sham. Think about the recent study that was out that showed that 60%, there's a 60% increase in suicides because of the lockdowns. Look at all the people that have lost their jobs, their businesses, their livelihoods. How many of you listening right now have lost relationships with family members, friends, loved ones, coworkers, all over this debacle?
Tabitha's dealing with it right now.
We all have. We all have. Listen, there have been doctors all across the country have stood up for truth, and we've been threatened. We've been threatened to be locked down. We've been threatened to lose our license. We've been threatened to be thrown in jail over all this BS, and they lied, and they lied. So who are you going to trust now? There is no reason why we should still be wearing masks. There's no reason why these kids should be outside running. Did you see the track athlete, the young track athlete woman that ran, it was like a mile or something, and she passed out unconscious at the finish line because the school made her wear a mask during the track meet? It is over.
It's been brutal. Tabitha, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't have my mic on. I want to backtrack for 1 second, and then, Vic, you can pick up where you left off. Is that, back on this show, I don't know if it was maybe May or June of last year, a year ago, we actually read a study on this show, and I think, Dr. Naputi, you were here that day, where we didn't, our government didn't need to wait for this study to come out most recently, because you know what? This virus started in China. Obviously, there were thousands of people, millions of people in China who had COVID. They did a study in China a year ago that stated not one single case in China could be traced back to an infection that took place outside, not even one.
Yeah.
Out of millions of people, not one case took place outside. So our government already knew that COVID couldn't be transmitted outside, but yet they still place these ridiculous restrictions. Because it's all a game.
It's a show. You know how many government officials, including local, here, when I remember when I spoke at the St. Charles County Council meeting, and I love St. Charles County. Steve Ellman's done everything that he thinks has been right. Thank God guys like Joe Brazel and some of our senators like Bill Eigel and Bob Onder actually have a set of testicles and are standing up for Missourians because they've known from the beginning what's right, and those are the people we should follow. I remember being at the St. Charles County Council over a year ago saying, you do not have enough data to make any decisions, and some of the councilmen said, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. Well, guess what? Told you so then, told you so now. Next week, Vic, I'm going to have a national Kiss Dr. Eric Naputi's butt day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a 3-mile run and not take a shower 4 days before so you can kiss my sweaty ass, because that's what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, that's the truth. I'm done with it. And you should be too, everybody.
It's 9:44 and we're running out of time. I needed to ask one question because this is also a question from the Facebook line. Could you please give us your opinion, medical opinion,
right,
and regarding what you've seen? Because how many people have you treated for COVID since we knew what it was?
So again,
and I have a follow-up. The reason I ask you that.
So in 2020, my offices, remember I have multiple offices,
Yes.
train lots. We've had over 400,000 office visits, face-to-face visits. And I've
For
personally,
COVID?
for health-related
okay.
issues. So face-to-face stuff and et cetera. We literally have had thousands of patients that we've talked to, and we've helped with the process. Because Vic, here's the legal dance around. There's no legal recognition of a treatment, prevention, or cure for COVID-19. Let me just clearly state that, including the shots that are out right now. Just like if you treat cancer in the United States with anything other than chemo, radiation, or surgery, you can go to jail and lose your license. So there's a lot of problems with our system. But lots of people that we've treated and helped, and I have hundreds of thousands of people that have used our protocols that they have claimed, not Dr. Naputi, but they have claimed that they have gone very well and have had no problems for the last 12 to 14 months, Vic. That's what we're saying.
The reason I ask that, how many patients has Dr. Fauci treated?
0.
Okay, so now you know that.
How about Sam Page? 0.
Okay, and now we know that. With that being said, yet these people, those two, are telling St. Louis, telling the country that kids need to be vaccinated, that it's how we're going to get back to normal and how we're going to stop the spread of COVID and stop this pandemic. With that being said, your opinion, your advice when it comes to kids getting vaccinated.
Well, let me ask you a question. Who's saying that?
The CDC was saying it.
Oh, they just found out the CDC lied about masks, lied about outside exposure, lied about asymptomatic spread.
Is that why they're being sued?
But most parents don't realize that the CDC lied.
Guess who else lied? Well, we just told them. And we just showed them the clips.
I know, but that messaging needs to get out.
Have you ever trusted the CDC? Ever?
I never have.
Ever.
But a lot of people
Do you trust
have.
the EPA? Do you trust the FDA?
Guess who else told them they should go and get this vaccine? But then today, Fauci says, I'm not really entirely sure if people should be giving kids the vaccine. That's what he said. He's going to change his mind tomorrow.
He will change his mind tomorrow.
But that's what he said.
Because they're going to dangle another carrot out there, and they're going to tell us once again that if you don't get fully vaccinated, you cannot have your freedom that you've designated as an American. As Americans, we don't have freedom anymore unless we're vaccinated. That's what they're telling us.
You've been lied to, and then you've been lied to some more. How's that make you feel? It's okay. The world sometimes has to be humbled. We have to sometimes hit rock bottom before we can reset and build it back up and really, truly make America great again. And that's what's happening. Change is now. We've got to stop focusing on symptoms, start going after the cause. What did we say from the beginning of this that we agreed with the CDC on? One thing is that 96% of people that died, quote unquote, during the COVID-19 pandemic had 2 to 3 to 4 other comorbidities. And now the more data is coming out showing that, hey, listen, this thing might have actually been made in a lab. And the people that we sent in to do the investigation on it are the people that were paid to build this thing in the first place. That's what Tucker showed the other day. I don't know what else to tell you. If you cannot pull your cranium out of your rectum, that's your problem, and that's fine. Go back in the basement, let the adults sort stuff out, hold my beer, we'll be right back. And in July, this thing will all be done.
But you did see, and I'm assuming you would agree, restaurant owners, health officials, even Dr. Garza saying, well, you know, there's no way to prove if you've had the vaccine or not.
Of course there's not.
And you're just going to be on your own.
Exactly. I mean,
COVID's in the air.
Right.
But, you know, you do what you need to do. But if you've been vaccinated, you're fine.
And why? Why do they want?
I know,
Why do they want us to get this vaccine so bad? So bad. So bad. They're willing. I mean, how far are they willing to go to get us to take this vaccine? Like we said earlier, cheeseburgers didn't work. French fries didn't work. Cardinal tickles aren't working. I mean, what else is it going to be? What's next?
Did you hear what Ohio
A lottery
did?
for millions of dollars.
$1 million divine. This is the day after
$5 million prizes.
And by the way, 5 also free college scholarships for kids that get it.
Why do they want us to get this vaccine so bad?
Well, follow the money, Tabitha. Follow the money,
Is it
the money,
about
the
money?
Of course, it's got to be money, control, power. I don't know. There's all kinds of things that are out there that could possibly be with it. Some people have said as far as, hey, you know what? There's actually a mission out there to maybe stop the way that people are reproducing and things like that. I don't know.
Does it
heard
modify us in some way? And if we don't get the vaccine, we don't get this new upgrade modification, and we'll be rogue.
Well, here's what the CDC says. The CDC says, and they never lie. The CDC says that this mRNA injection cannot alter and change your DNA, which, by the way, thousands of other doctors, epidemiologists, and world-leading experts disagree with emphatically. You want to get the vaccine, that's your decision. Go to the front of the line and get it. I think that's great. I'm pro-freedom to choose with that stuff. But there's a law in the state of Missouri and in the United States of America called informed consent, and they must tell you the risk versus benefits before you get something, and they don't know them. Tucker Carlson said the other night on his program that more people, if you look at the vaccine adverse reporting events on the CDC's website, more people have died from the coronavirus vaccine. That's Tucker Carlson saying it, not Dr. Naputi. I'm repeating it. In the last 6 months than the VAERS has reported in the last decade of deaths from all vaccines combined. Think about that for a minute.
You got to say that again. Please say that. Oh my gosh.
Tucker Carlson said on his program 3 nights ago that the vaccine adverse reporting system that's on the CDC's website has reported more deaths in the last 6 months from coronavirus vaccine alone than all of the vaccines combined over the last decade. Okay. Look it up.
How quick do you think the show's going to be deleted today?
Pretty
Well,
quick.
we're on
Share it,
YouTube
baby.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube
And we
now.
want to remind all of our listeners, you can follow us on YouTube. Tabitha, if you can let everybody know how they can find us.
Yes, all you have to do is go to YouTube, search The Edge Morning Show, and we will pop up. And here's something I tell everybody to do, and I do it myself. When I'm worried something's going to be deleted, I take my cell phone and I record the show myself on my cell phone, because guess what? They can't delete what I have on my cell phone.
Okay. Well, but we're grateful for the opportunity we have as that platform, though. I mean, on Facebook, we're grateful for it. And, of course, we've got YouTube as well. Dr. Naputi, we've got, I was going to say, because we got to take one more quick break before we go, but
Our
Chris
break
will be-
person is, I don't know how to operate the break.
cool.
I
button.
know. So I guess
I'm back here behind the operator.
He'll deal with that as
circle,
we go.
But
Takeaways. Takeaways to now. Takeaways.
Okay, takeaways. You are in control of your health. No one else is. You have been from the beginning. You always will be. It is your responsibility to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You cannot be spoon-fed information from the television because they've lied to you. It's called programming for a reason, because they program your brain to think a certain way. Number two takeaway, you've been lied to. Number 3, you've been lied to. Number 4, you've been lied to. And number 5, you've been lied to. The media has been overtaken. We clearly see that. I mean, point in case last night, they blamed the gas shortage on former President Trump. How's that even possible?
Right.
And I don't even understand. And by the way, a certain kind of special people are special to believe that.
Dr. Naputi, this ends when we say it ends, not when the government says it
We've
ends.
said that from the beginning because it is about we the people. We have the freedom to choose. We have the freedom to decide. We the people. God gave us the ability to have freedom to choose and free will. We must stand up against tyranny and say enough is enough. We're not going to take it anymore. I'm going to protect myself, protect my children, protect my future, and that is it. And the truth will set you free. And common sense is not that common, and we have a lot of useful idiots. Let me repeat that again. Useful idiots in the federal government on all sides that are lying to you and manipulating you and stealing your money and life from your family.
Dr. Eric Naputi, Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, and Vic Faust of Fox 2. We've got to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Edge right after this.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
and for a limited time is offering 10% off the cost of working capital. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio to fill out a short form and connect with a real advisor who will work with you to create the best funding solution. Mention the code RADIO to redeem your special offer. With funding as low as $3,000 up to $500,000 in all industries across the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Canada, Greenbox Capital can help with your financial needs today. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio. Again, that's greenboxcapital.com/radio. Get the business funding you need while saving 10% off the cost of working capital. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio. Greenbox Capital, fast funding for small businesses.
Ben's Moving and Storage in Winsville is essential to the housing market and is open. To keep our family and yours safe, storage and leasing payments are window serviced only. Packing boxes and supplies may be picked up at the window or delivery is available. Our movers use masks, gloves, and sanitizer wipes, and we ask the same of our clients. Our clients have to move and our employees have to work. United as a team, we got this. Stay safe, stay healthy. Ben'sMovingAndStorage.com or find us on Facebook.
Contractors Flooring Supply is your open to the public U.S. Corette, Casabella, Neptune, Nova, Metroflor, and Mohawk waterproof flooring specialist. 12 mil wear layers with premium pad attached at $247 per square foot. 20 mil at $297 a square foot. Nylon residential super dense carpet is just $287 per square foot installed over 8-pound lifetime Mohawk cushion. Dreamweaver Frisee carpet at 99 cents a square foot. Contractors Flooring next to New World King in Warrington.
Whether you're a pro on the job site or managing properties, clean and safe is your #1 priority, and Lowe's has the pro-grade cleaning supplies you need. We go beyond the basics, bringing you commercial cleaning from top brands like Clorox, Zep, and Rubbermaid, and in larger sizes so you can take on any cleaning job knowing you have the quantity you need. Shop LowesForPros.com and have your items delivered or pick up in store. Lowe's, the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Push dirt and boundaries. Side & Stricker Nobe Partners has great financing, lease, and warranty options on our compact construction equipment. Right now, save up to $2,500 on a brand new John Deere compact track loader with a competitive trade-in. Looking for a partner you can trust? Our dedicated service and sales departments are waiting to help. Side & Stricker Nobe, your partner for the job site. snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 5/31/21. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Here comes more of the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to The Edge. Dr. Eric Naputi, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. We got a couple of minutes left before we get out of here. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for joining us on what has arguably been, from start to finish, one of our most entertaining, informing shows that we've had in over a year. That's because of you, the listeners. Of course, remember to share the show. 100.7 The Viper. Dr. Naputi, you got any plans this weekend?
Oh, I'm going to be hanging out with the family, sitting back, maybe have a cup of coffee and talk about all the COVIDiots out there and the stuff that has happened negatively in the world and how the people are taking the world back. And I love it. I'm excited. It's good stuff, man.
Tabitha, what are you up to this weekend?
I'm going out with the girls. I think tonight and tomorrow night. I think I need extra girl time this weekend.
Well, I thought you needed some cocktails.
Yeah, the hand in hand, yes.
Chris Knight, what are you up to, buddy?
I don't know. I think I'm just going to hang around the house.
Yeah, I don't need plans.
Home
either.
Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond, something
Supposed to
like that.
rain this weekend.
Yeah, it is. Enjoy today. Today's going to be dry. That's for sure. We'll do what we can there. And by the way, if you like the new look of The Edge with the graphics, with the news headlines, with all of that, we're on YouTube. Chris, nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job, brother. When Chris is working on the show and texting me at 10:30 at night about guests, and I'm going, damn, Chris is all in.
We're on it.
I was like, wow. And of course, you, the listeners, make up the show. I just have to talk about this. There's almost 700 comments today in a 2-hour show. That's freaking unbelievable for us. So we appreciate it. Doc, you got anything before we go?
Love and appreciate everybody. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. It's just going to keep getting better. How about I come back next week and give everybody an even better update, because there's going to be some cool stuff happening over the next few days that you're going to be distracted over, and I can't wait to share that
You're
with
always welcome. Dr. Eric Naputi, the Naputi Wellness Center, ericnaputi.com. Chris and I, Tabitha Hassell, Vic Faust on Fox 2. Chris, on Fox 2 News at 5 tonight, I'll see you. I'll be wearing my navy blue and some purple.
Fantastic. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll do it again Monday morning, 8 a.m.